There is one skill in manifestation that when you master it, when you really get a handle on it, you're at a whole nother level. And that skill is, how well do you manage your impulses? How impulsive are you? Do you take the bait? Do you fall for the trap? Or are you able to maintain some level of self-control? That's what I want to talk about today, and how to really zone in on this skill, get it in place, dial it up, and get the life you always dreamed of. Welcome, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human, here today to help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so you can discover the hidden treasures inside of you. My friends, it's all there, ready and waiting to be activated by you, through you, and for you. If that sounds good, subscribe. We'd love to have you join us on the channel. And who am I? I'm Jess. I am a manifestation coach and a neuro-linguistic programming master practitioner. That's a big word for a personal trainer for the mind. And so I take a very practical approach to this stuff. I want you to live your best life. If you want to work with me, I am available for coaching. Details below in the description box. And let's dive into the video. So this skill comes down to the spectrum of self-control versus instant gratification. We've all been drawn into all the clickbait titles of, oh, manifest it instantly, manifest in 24 hours, get it tomorrow, or I'll manifest it for you. All of these big promises of instant manifestation. This is an itch we all want to scratch so bad. You know, the game really is self-control. Self-control. Have you really gotten what you wanted with the instant gratification route? When we err on the side of instant gratification instead of self-control, we become a liability. We became a liability to a lot of things, to ourselves. We're going to go for the quick fix, the easy thing, the low-hanging fruit, instead of being more faithful and loyal to our longer-term goals. Good things in life come from self-control. They really do. It's the cheap, it's the easy, it's the fast food, it's the instant gratification. Those things are quick wins because we don't have to work very hard for them. And when we don't work hard, we don't assume as much value attached to that thing. The things we work really hard for are much more fulfilling. They are much more satisfying. They hit a deeper part of us. And that deeper part of us is critical for character development. We are a liability to ourselves, to our relationships, to the things that are most important to us when we just go for the instant gratification, when we fall for that moment of doubt, when we feel sadness, or we make that snap judgment on what's going on in the 3D and what bearing it has on our goals, on who we actually are. This is the difference between pulling the trigger or not. Are you going to take the bait when suddenly you end up somewhere on your mental map? Are you going to be loyal to your goals, to be loyal to who you actually are, your values, your core values, and not take the bait? Are you going to hunker down and shelter in place and be like, this is going to pass. I'm not going to calibrate who I am from this exact moment in time where things suddenly look catastrophic, or they suddenly look like I'm not going to get it, or it suddenly looks bad. So many of us fall off the wagon. And this is the skill that needs to be cultivated. This is the skill that levels you up. This is the skill that when you develop more and more self-control of recognizing, uh-oh, I'm suddenly in a really bad mental place, and it's really scary, and it's really feels like it's threatening my outcome, my desired outcome. When you are just able to stand in that, when you have the self-control to just stand in it and be like, okay, that's interesting, and it passes. It's when we take the bait of instant gratification, of like, oh no, it's catastrophic, oh no, we dissolve into that moment. And that makes it more difficult for us to live in the end, to stay in the end state when we, again, get blown around by these rogue emotions that pop up, these rogue incidents in 3D that seem to be not on our bridge of incidents. We get thrown off by them, and then we're back to looking at things again of, oh gosh, how do I start over again? How do I get to what I want? Instead of The challenge being more self-control of, even if I am standing in a hurricane in my 3D reality, there is a consistency of character, a consistency of beingness that you develop in developing a sense of self-control. And that is the skill. That is a skill that makes you, whoa. You talk about being creator, being all that is, that level of fulfillment, you stop the chameleoning of instant gratification, because instant gratification, when we succumb to it, when we succumb to a thought of doubt or how we're feeling that day, or maybe we're tired, or that's, again, throws us out of end state. Meanwhile, the self-control of living in the end, it feels very concrete. It feels very unshakable. We're talking about self-containment in developing the skill of self-control, mastering your impulses, not letting the deeper part of you be thrown off by some emotional impulse you have, some 3D impulse, circumstance that arises that looks catastrophic. You are not thrown by them anymore. And then, my friend, ooh, yeah, you're dialed in. You got it. You got it. How I started to develop this in myself, it first started for me because I was very instant gratification. As a highly sensitive person, those of you who have been following me for a while, you know I started this channel talking about highly sensitive people, and highly sensitive people are just that. They are instant gratification. They are reactive. Every little thing, every little thought, every little feeling gets this big reaction. I decided to start doing things that were hard. I developed conditioned grit. I called it conditioned grit. And I started with cold showers. I started taking cold showers, forcing myself to do something that wasn't instant gratification. There was no immediate, amazing payoff to it. There is when you get out, you feel really like, woo, juiced up and jacked up and energized. The actual mental control it takes to get into the shower, however, that's where the conditioned grit part comes in, of making yourself do it. Doing it regardless of, I really don't want to do this. This is going to be horrible. I don't want to turn that cold water on. Oh my God. Doing it anyway. Learning how to overcome that instant gratification impulse for comfort. I want to be comfortable. I want to be warm. I don't want to do this. Overriding it. That's what you're doing when you're building self-control. So you want to develop the skill of self-control. Do hard stuff. Do hard stuff just because it's hard and just because there is a really good reason to do it. Start to do more things that are hard and hang in there. Find the moments of instant gratification in doing hard stuff. It started with cold showers for me, and then it went to exercise. I had been wanting to exercise. I had been wanting to get into it, but again, having to override, there's that instant gratification block that you have of, oh, but I have to get up early and I got to put my gym clothes on. It's usually the excuses are the instant gratification that we use not to do the hard stuff. The more and more hard things that you incorporate into your life that are meaningful to you, that is the kicker. Cold showers I did because it was important to me not to be sensitive anymore. I was conditioning grit into my life, and I started with cold showers. The gym, it was important for me to be healthy. I didn't like the way that I looked. I was overweight. I was often feeling lethargic. It was important to me to go to the gym. So I went to the gym every day. I overrode that instant gratification impulse, which is the excuse of why I didn't want to do it. I overrode it. I was like, cool, I hear you, but I'm going to do this instead. And I started building the muscle of self-control every day, every day. And what you'll find, you're always going to find that there is some instant gratification payoff in developing self-control. With the cold showers, I felt amazing after I got out. I was proud of myself. I fostered a sense of pride in being able to do something like that was so physically extreme, and being able to accomplish that whenever I wanted to, on demand, this grit on demand. It fostered a sense of pride and appreciation for myself. It helped me build my self-confidence and say, you know what, I am a durable person. This is an example of how I am durable. This is an example of how I am not sensitive. And just that little building block, then I started going to the gym. I can do this. I can go to the gym every day. I can have the self-control to go to the gym every day. And then it went to keto. I can go cold turkey on sugar. I'm not going to eat sugar or carbohydrates any longer. I went cold turkey on that and I maintained keto. I don't have any problem maintaining keto because I have continued to integrate hard things into my life and stick with them. You build self-control when you integrate more things in life that don't give you that instant payoff. Manifestation is no different. Because what is manifestation? The art of living in the end, in claiming it for yourself internally. Now, it's here now. The 3D is the instant gratification. It's the instant payoff. It's the excuse. It's whatever it is. It's the scary moment. It is the things that we perceive that can transport us on our mental map to a place where we don't want to be, where it's not the end, where everything has ended, where it's over, where it's done, there's no chance. And if we don't take the bait of that, that is the main goal of learning how to manifest, is developing the inner authority to have the self-control, not to fall for the impulse of those images, the feelings, and the sensations that tell you otherwise, and develop a sort of consistency of self, the self-concept, where you are in control of yourself at all times, where you become your own wholeness. That sense of self-control builds so much. It develops so much. You practice it so much in these real practical ways. Like I said, taking cold showers, doing things that are difficult, that are meaningful to you, like building a business, like learning a new skill, like learning how to play an instrument, like working on a relationship. Relationships too fall into this category of, do you have the self-control to play the long game with someone? In terms of friendship, in terms of romantic relationship, are you invested in the long term, or are you just constantly want them to tell you they love you? Can you make it through the peaks and valleys of every relationship? Has peaks and valleys. Can you hold the consistent vision of, this is who this person is to me, this is what our relationship is, regardless of what I see happening? And I am giving myself the instant gratification of not falling when I see something that contradicts that, not getting swept away, not changing my perspective or what I know to be true when some contradictory piece of evidence is offered to me. And instead, letting the self-control piece of that be, yeah, I see that. Okay, I see that. It can exist. It's fine. I'm not going to take it in as input that is going to influence my sense of self-control, where I know to be true, what I know my end state is. And on the flip side, then offering myself the instant gratification of an instant revision of like, oh, actually they just said that I'm awesome. Or actually they said that they're hiring me. When we build the self-control muscle to consistently show up for ourselves in the same way, in the same way, in the same way, the world starts to mirror it because it's our reflection. We're the source. It is the reflection. Then we can add in the fun part of instant gratification, which is self-talk, telling ourselves what we want to hear from someone else, telling ourselves or showing ourselves through a visualization a revised version of the situation that is actually pleasing and self-fulfilling for us. We start to do more and more of this. We can reintroduce it and make it the fun part, where we then have more fun in our imagination. That drip of instant gratification we can then provide for ourselves, and then we're the full package. And then we are literally like creating exactly what we want. We are living in this blissful, wonderful, fun, exciting state where everything is in our favor because we've taken the time to build a very consistent sense of self on the inside through self-control, through complete loyalty to our goals, to our vision, to our end state. We're staying in it. We lose ourselves in it. We've lost ourselves in it a long time ago, and now it's second nature. It's just how we think now. Our thoughts, our responses have fashioned around our end state, and now we can bring in the fun of like, ooh, yeah, the instant gratification pieces of like, ooh, yeah, you just said this, and this playfulness that returns. And even in being able to see things that look contradictory and be like, and laughing at them, having these really unique, playful responses to what looks like catastrophe or what looks like a failure or what looks like whatever else, because we're so anchored in our self-concept. We're like, oh, I know this is going to turn out for me. How funny is this? Then we can have very lighthearted responses to life. So that's one of the benefits. It just up-levels your life. It up-levels your manifesting to the nth degree, and you just have more fun. It's just more awesome overall. So this is the skill really to develop in yourself. Where are you with this skill set, with self-control versus instant gratification, of how loyal you are to your own goals, your own dreams? And one practical way to do this, again, start integrating more things in your life that are hard. Go for your biggest goals. Go for your biggest dreams. Do them. Walk the path now. You will find in practicing this, you're going to develop more self-control. Your impulsivity is going to drop. You're not going to be a liability to yourself anymore. You've arrived in your end state by doing that. I know this is helpful to you. Drop a comment below. I'm happy to engage with you. And if you need a tool to recondition those impulsive things of emotion, the tool in the description box will help you do that with emotions. When emotion pops up that doesn't feel good, instead of getting carried away by it, we're going to recondition it. We're going to have a different response. We're going to sit with it, listen to it, feel it, let it burn itself out, and then offer ourselves some soothing words. That's what we do with the tool. Check that out below if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.